Good morning. You're listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ, Kingston, New York. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Pamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you and mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning, this is Dan Gatis, and thank you for tuning in, sharing the morning with us on KCR and being a part of KCR Community. Tuesday, June 29th, and 73 degrees already here in uptown Kingston. Sunshine starts the day, and then some afternoon clouds. Stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. A high of 94 today, and tonight some clouds this evening, then mainly clear skies, a low of 72. And Wednesday, sunny in the morning, then increasing clouds, bringing a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms later on in the day. A high of 94 for Wednesday, and Wednesday night, cloudy with a low of 69.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5. Thanks for starting your day.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Shirley Stabe from Kingston, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
And you're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ, 920 on your AM dial, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. KCR is talk radio, and your number to call in is 331-9255, and this is a terrific Tuesday. It's a terrific Tuesday in many ways. And Nina Postapak is in the on-air studio launching Terrific Tuesday. Good morning, Nina.
Good morning, Dan, and good morning to everyone on this terrific Tuesday. A little warm, though, as far as the weather, but at least the sun is shining, which is great. And I don't know where my partner in crime is here, Cameron, but he did text me that he will be here, so he probably is running a little late. So, Dan, it's you and I.
It's you and I.
That's a good thing. So I'm excited about this morning. This is our fifth Tuesday, so we have some new guests on.
Oh, wow. This is a fifth Tuesday. That's right. Yeah, it's the 29th.
Yeah, so we have Steve Blawas coming in at 8:30
to
talk about his new book. And you know what, Dan? If you get the opportunity while we're on the air, you have to just take a quick look at his book. He gave me a draft of the book, and just to give everybody a preview, the book weighs 4 pounds. Yeah. So it is a large book, but I enjoyed it so much over the weekend. As a matter of fact, I actually brought it down to my mom's, to her house, because there's so many pictures in there of the city of Kingston back when she was growing up, and she enjoyed it immensely.
Those are absolutely 100% precious. You know, I love Ed Ford's book for that reason, Images of Kingston.
Yes.
If you've ever seen that. Oh, I'm sure you have.
Yes, I have, yeah.
Amazing.
It is, absolutely.
And we'll wait for Steve to unveil the book, right?
Right,
Okay,
right, absolutely.
We'll wait for Steve to unveil it.
We will. And we're just talking off the air, right? How busy it's been in Uptown Kingston.
It's been busy in Uptown
Yeah.
Kingston, and
Good morning.
it's it has a new. We were talking about this yesterday. We want to make sure that people assimilate, not try to change Kingston into something new.
Yes.
Come and find out. And I with everyone that I meet, and I meet a lot of public that have to do with, being new here.
Sure.
And stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you do being at the restaurant and everything.
Yeah, and one thing that's quite what would I say? It would it trends more on the interest people have for the town and for what's here already, and for the infrastructure and the cultural milieu that's here. They have more of a sense of that than trying to come in and change it. Right.
I hope so,
Yeah.
because that's
And
the
I
charm.
I find that
It's the reason they're moving here.
predominantly, it's that sense of assimilating, wanting to assimilate into the
And I
culture
hope they
here.
bring energy, a dynamic to the community that
Mm-hmm.
does change it, but in a positive way. So as they simulate into the community, I think they'll also change it in certain aspects, but in a good, positive way. And I
Yeah.
think it's a great blend because we needed some revitalization. We needed
Involvement.
Yes, we needed.
Get involved, because moving here is because it's a cool town and all that's great, but if you're just going to occupy space, what
Yeah.
what the heck, why?
Right,
You
right,
just drove
just-
up our property value.
Exactly.
And I think it's even more important than ever, my slogan, locals say hi, or something like, if you want to be part of the community, you got to say hi to people.
That's right.
Time and again. Good morning, hi, walking the dog, oh, how you doing? People look at you and they look away like, oh my goodness, except people from around here, oh hey, or they say it first. I've noticed
Yeah, right,
a distinct
exactly, yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Gotta-
and you,
that's
and
an
you can't help
important-
that because you come from a community where
Yeah.
that's not something that you would normally do.
What?
So
If
as
you
you
s-
get
if-
more comfortable, I think, living here,
I hope.
those things will happen.
That plays to your assimilation.
Yeah, absolutely should. Absolutely should. And you should create signs to go on every stop sign that says "Locals say hi." Cam.
Yep,
Okay.
that's right. Bop the top, sell it,
Bumper
bop the
stickers.
totem. You know, they
Yeah.
got all those other cool slogan shirts upstate, Crown and John and all,
Yeah,
locals say hi.
that's right. That's true.
So Cameron, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, no, don't you worry. Was dealing with an issue.
Okay.
An issue, but the town of Ulster police are involved.
Oh,
There's some vandalism at Calabar last night.
there was.
One, it was the prom, so there's probably some hanky-panky hijinks going on. But,
A lot of damage or no?
yeah, there's some chairs thrown about, twisted tea cans strewn about the grass, broken bottles in the parking lot and outside the pump room. An umbrella stand is lying at the bottom of the deep end of the pool. Some pieces of plants in the pool because there are some planters around. No evidence of anybody breaking into the clubhouse,
That's good.
but there is an unlocked sliding glass door. Well, that was probably left over from first day of camp. Oh, man, oh, man. Well, always something. Sorry, I'm on the
And that
radio.
people have to be destructive.
Yeah, that happens every couple
does,
years,
it does.
forever. So,
Yeah, that's very true. Absolutely. Well, hopefully there isn't much damage in the clubhouse itself.
yeah,
or to
and
the pool itself, so.
yeah, hopefully the pool isn't all mucked up because
Right, yeah.
camp is starting in 52 minutes. So,
Was yesterday the first day of camp?
it was. I
Okay.
have no idea how that camp went because my kid's way out of it. But I'm still a member of the club, still
Right,
involved in the board.
right.
But my camp went swimmingly. The buses showed up and the
Good.
counselors took the kids, and it's pretty cool how it's completely different operation system, whatever. This is a day camp. Normally my camp is a sleepover camp, but
And it's older. Your
all right,
camp is older.
Yeah, my kids are 10th grade kids, very specific demographic, but these are like 8 to 12-year-olds. And so they come in the morning and they leave. So there's the overnight component's not there. That's actually
It's a little bit easier.
Camp Ramapo is actually sort of renting our facility because, long story, I won't get into it, but But it went really well, and it's neat how, like, normally our kids stay in tents that were these big canvas tents on platforms, but because of COVID restrictions, like the kids in camps have to be in like pods or little cohorts, with two counselors, and they using those big tents as like each pod's home bed. There's at least 14 because I saw a group 14 up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Highest number I saw was 14. So 14 of these groups. And, they wheel off the bus, 4 buses because they can't fill all the seats,
Right.
But they roll pretty quick. And you see the groups walking down like a counselor, like towing a wheelie cooler that all the kids have their lunch and water bottles in. And they go to one of the tents or whatever, they put their backpack down. And then, when they blow the whistle, whatever, the day starts. And, one group goes to arts, one group goes to swimming, or, they spread out and went great. Went really well. Well-oiled machine.
That's fantastic. That's great.
It was no drama. Busy. We're just figuring out the kinks and where to. They had these big water jugs, like the big Gatorade water jugs. With the spout.
Yeah. Plus, it started on a very hot day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Trial
always
by
a
fire.
challenge
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
But we set up a hose down by the basketball court where they had the sports and soccer and gaga ball, and it's.
And you have the pool,
well.
right? You have the
Oh, yeah. The pool was very popular.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Very popular
I'm sure.
spot yesterday.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So it's
What's
first
Gaga
day.
Ball?
Gaga Ball is it's an Israeli game. It's huge in the summer camp industry. It's relatively new. It's like sweeping, like scout camps, white camps. You can't keep the kids out of the thing. It's an octagon wall about there's no official size. It can be as big as this room or it could be big as both of these rooms, and it's about waist high maybe, and there's people in the ring. The players. It's a one-on-one individual game, but it's an elimination tag type or a dodgeball game. But you use your hands to bat around the ball, and it's from the waist down. So if you get hit in the leg, you're out. So kids aren't getting whacked in the face, and you got to use your hand. It's a lot of foot movement, dodging around because it's fast, and the wall is in play. So there's careens and everything. So you get hit, you got to jump out. But when you jump out, if the ball pops up in the air and you're out and you catch the ball, it's a free pass back in. And it's last person standing. And it doesn't have to be the biggest, the fastest, the boy, girl, whatever. It's whoever.
Lucky enough not to get
and the games
tagged.
go quick, and it can occupy like from 3 to 20 kids for as long as you let them. It's fun, it's infectious, it's silly, it gets noisy, and it's cool. But yeah, so that's Gaga Ball.
Okay, so
It
that
was
was your
busy.
day yesterday.
Yeah, busy, typical camp day, which I'm
Yes.
sure was the same all across New York. I'm sure.
Yeah, matter of fact, I saw in the
Wakamano starting soon, and
and I saw in the Freeman that the park program is going to offer free meals to all the park participants, and they're doing that in collaboration with the school district.
That's great.
So yeah, shout out to Paul Padalino and the school district for doing that. That's a huge undertaking. I know my son worked as a counselor at the parks for years, and that's not an easy task to feed everyone, the kids and so forth. So, and unfortunately, we were going to try to get Lindsay Chimbrick on today, which would have been perfect, but she was on vacation, so she wasn't able to do that. Yeah, lucky her, right?
before she gets swamped with
I know,
when their
with
camps
kids,
start.
right?
No
Yeah.
time off when they're in that business.
No, not at all.
day.
I know, absolutely. So, and we were just talking about at the 8:30 hour, we have Steve Blawas, but at the 7:30 hour, since it's a fifth Tuesday, right? We have some guests that we
Matt
don't
Cierney
know.
coming in,
Yes.
who is the relatively new superintendent of the Whitwick Golf Course. So our long-time attentive listeners, we have a phone call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Cameron. I didn't hear you the day after we talked because I didn't have the station on the air. I couldn't get it. So, I'm going to walk you through this. Excuse me, Nina. This is the Cameron Paula show for a few minutes.
Okay.
That's okay, that's fine.
After Flag Day is the last time I saw you.
Okay. The Kingston Elks Lodge. Normally, does a monthly dinner, takeout dinner. And the next one is going to be
On July 12th. It is
July
not.
12th.
It's customarily the first Monday of the month. However, the first Monday of the month is observed holiday, the federal holiday, July 5th. So
Yes, in July this is very different, but normally it'll be the first Monday of the month.
correct.
So it's July, and the menu is
Chicken kebabs with saffron rice, garden salad, and dessert. Not sure what dessert is, but I think Deanie Welsh is making it.
Ooh, so that sounds delicious.
So I'm not sure. And of course, the cost is $10. And of course, you caught me off guard because I don't currently have the correct phone number. But anyone that wants the Elks drive-through dinner, please call me. The one time only, 389-9574. It's my cell number. Write it down, 389-9574.
it's a different number than what I have.
Correct. Unless you have the newest. See, we just changed numbers. Our dear
I have 428-9850.
I believe that's the current one, yes. Because why I'm confused is our dear friend Ken Backhoffen and Leslie Lansing sold their house last Wednesday, and not having anywhere to move or stay, they had to move down to Florida. Well, they were planning to move down to Florida, but they would hope to. The sale came up quickly and they had to leave. And
So are they permanently moving to Florida?
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, it was very sad.
Well, good luck to them. Yeah, that's a shame.
Not sad. It was sad to see him go because I got choked up. We had a tearful goodbye at the lodge meeting. He was like,
Okay.
But anyhow, so I digress.
We need the current phone number,
I
which
know.
would be 845-428-9850.
I'm gonna believe you on that one because I know we had a special number set up, but then we got a new one, and the newest one
this is what's on the sign.
Okay.
So
It is.
Oh,
Excellent.
okay.
What's
Pick up. How?
What are you in the parking lot?
What's the
right now?
deadline for making reservations?
Say that again.
What would be the deadline for making reservations?
I'm going to say Saturday.
The Saturday before.
No, Friday. This Friday is the deadline.
This Friday.
No. I'm sorry.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, I guess. Friday the 9th is the deadline.
Okay, so it's the Friday before the Monday night dinner.
Correct.
Okay. Pickup begins at 5 p.m.
Correct. And ends at 7, but normally most people are out of there by 5, have gotten their meals by 5:30. Who wants to wait till 7 to eat?
Now, can I ask you this because I'm not totally understanding what I would have to do when I come to pick up at 5 o'clock? What do I call them, that number, and say I'm here?
Nope.
And somebody brings it out to me?
There are people out in the parking lot, shall we say, in the driveway, at a little check-in table with the list. And you pull up, and they check your name against the list, and you pay your $10, and you get a ticket, and you drive up to the front porch and hand a ticket to one of the other people that are there manning a table, and then we run your dinners right out. All you got to do is lower your back window, and we can put it right on the seat for you.
I'll put it on my front seat, but that's okay.
Well, wherever you want, open the trunk. You can give it to your passenger to hold on their lap to keep everything level, whatever you want, but you don't even have to leave the car. And, it goes quickly because, we have a group of people inside. As soon as it's ready out of the oven, whatever, we're making it instantly, and it's coming immediately out the door to you. So, piping hot or freezing cold, whatever it's supposed to be. So.
Okay, now we've covered the who, the Elks, the what is the dinner, the when is July 12th, and the where is at the Elks.
And the why is because we love helping our community serve delicious, and I say delicious, and nutritious, well-balanced, 100% homemade meals for $10. That's why we do it.
That's very reasonable.
It's ridiculously cheap. And the only reason we can do that is because it's volunteer labor. Otherwise, if we had to pay overhead like a restaurant or something, And that discussion has come up. Well, aren't you taking food out of the mouths of restaurants? No, because the majority of our customers wouldn't be going out to eat on a Monday night. And a lot of restaurants are closed on Monday. And they're spreading the wealth, once a month. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And we need the money desperately. Our building is in rough shape.
Maybe I burst a balloon and you get more people than you can handle. But I felt that we needed to advertise this.
We do. But like you said, it's a double-edged sword. We don't want to get more than we can handle because, we only have one oven and, we have somewhat limited capacity. So,
right.
And depending on the meal, too. Like chicken kebabs, we could do 150 chicken kebabs. Thanksgiving meal, like the turkey, the gravy.
It's more difficult.
It's tough because we can't keep everything warm at one. We have 2 ovens, 6 burners, and a flat top. So, depending or chili or beef stew, heck, we could serve 200 for beef stew. But the other thing, certain meals are,
recipes.
And
menu.
Many pots and pans or whatever,
So have we covered all our bases?
We ought to put you on retainer as our
marketing.
advertising specialist.
What?
I appreciate it, but thank you. Because I sometimes get caught up in just worrying about the nuts and bolts as opposed to some of the details and the advertising and the
phone number.
Yeah, the ticketing and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate your care for our thing, our meals.
Okay. And I blew up at the grounds people here at the apartment complex yesterday.
Why? What are they doing? What are they not doing?
Well, you see, while I was at wound care, they decided a long overdue weed whacking needed to be done in front of my apartment. What they did, because as an American citizen, a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, I'm very proud of my flag. And I had a whole bunch of flags hang along my walkway. And he took them down, and it appeared that he laid them on the ground. And I was furious. You do not put American flags on the ground.
Yep, that's verboten. You're right.
So, anyway, he said he didn't. He said he stood them up by my door, but they were on the ground when I found them, and I gave him what for.
Good. Little lesson in civics and respect for our nation's emblem.
And I said, are you an American citizen? And he said, yes, I am. And I said, every American citizen knows that you do not put American flags on the ground.
Yeah, well, it was hot.
We would hope, but
it was working. Poor guy's probably making barely above minimum wage. I'm sure he didn't mean any disrespect. But nonetheless,
no,
you're right. He broke protocol.
An agreement after a while. But you know how strongly I feel about the flag.
Yeah, that's right.
Rightfully so.
So at any rate,
so there you go.
Enjoy your day. We'll have to have the Cameron and Polo show next month.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. The first half hour.
Okay.
Well, all right.
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
Take care, Paul. Be well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, well, she made several valid points. So
yes,
thank you
did.
for helping me promote our.
That's right. A heck of a.
Maybe have her call again next Monday.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday,
yeah, right. Yeah.
A heck of a co-promoter, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Cameron, this weekend, right, is the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
So very timely that Paula was talking about the flags and so forth.
That's right.
So, a lot of celebrations. I was surprised. Saugerties, have you ever been to the Saugerties 4th of July parade?
No.
Amazing.
Oh, the parade? No, no.
Yeah,
Nor the fireworks years and years ago, but
Yeah. So every year I march in the 4th of July parade up in Saugerties, and it is a wonderful parade. First of all, the amount of people and the amount of organizations that participate.
This year is probably going to be huge.
Yes, and
It's only
then
gigging around.
I
too.
know, because I was surprised that they were having it. Somebody reached out to me and said, "Nina, you're going to march," and I'm like, "Well, are you having it?" And they said, "Yes." But what's so nice is everybody sits on their porches and on their front lawns, and they put their chairs out early, and there's barbecues and parties going on.
Yeah,
and
that's a
it's
little-
really, it's like hometown USA.
Yeah,
it's
that's
wonderful.
slightly different because of the more residential
Yes.
nature of Saugerties. You know, Kingston's parade route is commercial, pretty much, except for
Exactly.
those couple of houses by West Chestnut Street.
Right.
The
Yes.
rest of it's commercial, storefront, the Y, the.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everyone knows Broadway, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that's cool. That's neat about.
Right.
Maybe it should go
Yes.
down Clinton Avenue
Yeah,
or
there you-
Washington.
Yeah, exactly. Washington Avenue, why not?
Wow.
See, and it's a straight shot too.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's interesting. But
That is a very valid point. That it gets everybody out on the lawn
Oh, it's
chairs,
Cool. That
great.
must
It's
be
such
parties
a
in the
wonderful-
yard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My
and-
gosh.
Yes, and it puts you in
But-
such a
yeah.
festive
and
mood.
people right on the parade route are probably like, you know,
Oh yeah, it's
close
great.
to envious. And people are envious that day. You know, neighbors coming over to sit on their lawn to.
Exactly right.
Like
exactly.
perpendicular roads, people come down and say, "Hey, Bill, can we sit on your lawn?" You know, whatever.
Yeah, children, families, grandparents.
That's
It's
cool.
really
With the
nice.
barbecue.
Yeah. So, and they always do it on the 4th of July. So
Oh,
yeah,
good thing
perfect.
it's Independence Day parade.
And Saugerties is very community-minded, I have to say. And then, of course, they have things going on at Cantine Field all day, and then they, culminates with the fireworks at night. But really a great parade. So if anybody ever gets the opportunity to go, it's a lot of fun, and it's enjoyable. And that's this 4th of July. Unfortunately, the city of Kingston, because the restrictions for the pandemic were lifted so late, they were not able to do a 4th of July celebration this year. So this will be the second year in a row because of the pandemic that we aren't celebrating here in Kingston. But perfect opportunity to go to Saugerties. Nice and
Exactly.
close, and
Yep.
yeah.
Support the merchants and the community up there.
Right.
And all the marchers.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure there'll be a good turnout of marchers, in celebration of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're free, free of the COVID, restrictions and.
Yes,
Whatever,
yes.
so it should be
But
good.
quickly in the paper, and I saw on Facebook, and there was a press release, and it came through our emails yesterday that the Delta strain.
I saw that.
And it was the Delta strain of the COVID virus. Someone was affected with it who had the COVID shot. Now that individual recuperated and is fine, and I think they really say part of the reason for that is that they
Because of
were
the
vaccinated.
That's the first thing
Yes.
I thought. I was like,
Yes.
this
So-
is proof that it works.
Yeah, and just another reason,
No,
first of
you
all,
know-
not to let your guard down, and second of all, to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because you are protecting yourself against other strains of the virus that you may not be aware of right now.
Now, what's interesting to me is the fact that this person didn't, why they got tested, they didn't appear to be sick, right?
No, it's so...
They had just
so
gotten, what made them test?
Dwayne asked me the same thing.
Because
I'm going to
I've
give
never
you the
been
same answer I
tested.
gave him. I said, I have no
I've
idea.
never been tested. I've gotten the vaccine, Pfizer, I'm good to go.
Right.
I hope I'm good to go. But I've never been tested before or after, so I don't know if
You ever had
I
it?
had
You
it,
didn't
gotten
have
it. Maybe I had, maybe there wasn't allergies a couple weeks ago. I don't know. So
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah,
this individual,
yeah.
unless they came in contact with somebody and therefore they were thought that they should be proactive and be tested. I'm not really sure. I don't know, but yeah, interesting. Because sometimes we do let our guard down a little bit. I speak for myself now that I'm vaccinated, and you're not
Yeah,
as careful
absolutely.
as you used to be.
Yeah.
So important to continue to remember to try to social distance as much as possible, masks, and of course just be aware of your environment. Use your hand sanitizer, and stay vigilant. That's
Yep.
for sure.
another good headline is the Soapbox Derby is going to be back again in
Yes.
August, which is cool. Too late. I can't.
You have
I
a phone
can't.
call. Is-
Can you repeat the number for the Elks again?
Paula.
Can you
Where's
write- you
Paula
wrote it
I
when you
wrote
need
it
her?
down, but I didn't.
You didn't.
Shoot. I will repeat it.
After the break. After the
Paula.
break, we'll repeat it.
Call Dan and
Yeah,
give
Paula,
him that
call
number.
Dan and give him the number. I didn't write it down. I thought I wrote it down.
I thought you did too. You got the pen?
All right.
Alrighty.
Caller, please listen for a little while longer, and we will repeat that number.
Okay, we
Well-
better go to break.
Get it on my phone.
All right.
All right.
Dan, take it away.
Okay, and thank you for listening to the first quarter of Terrific Tuesday today. Nina Postyapak, Cameron Rylance, and you're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, on AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. It's Tuesday, June 29th, and 75 degrees already here in uptown Kingston. Sunshine starts the day, and then some afternoon clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. A high of 94 today. And tonight, some clouds this evening, then mainly clear skies, a low of 72. Wednesday, sunny in the morning, then increasing clouds, bringing a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms, and a high of 94 on Wednesday. And Wednesday night, cloudy with a low of 69. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs
and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner?
Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Eleanor Arrow from the town of Ulster, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. 7:32 a.m. and it's 75 degrees here in Uptown Kingston on this June 29th. Kingston Community Radio is a call-in show. So 331-9255 is your call-in number to our hosts and guests. This portion of Kingston Community Radio is being brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union. Main office, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston. Let's get back to the on-air studio with Nina Postyapak, Cameron Rylance, and our new guest.
And we are back. And Paula, call in with the number, please. So, let me introduce our guest, Matt Cierney. Welcome. Good morning. Matt is
Thank you.
The superintendent? Is that
Superintendent, yes.
The relatively new superintendent of the Whitwick Cemetery.
Correct. I started about a year ago, and there's a high turnover rate in that job. The last gentleman was there for about 30 years, and his father was there for 30 years before him.
Wow. Holy cow. So unless you don't like the job, you plan on being there for a while.
I plan on being there for a while, yeah. I got a later start in life than he did.
You got
actually
a lot of years on you left, so, come on. People can be like, why'd you get a guy from the cemetery on? Well, firstly, cemetery, it's a business. It's like a big operation that a lot of people have no idea of. I never knew until my dad had gotten involved years ago in the cemetery, and so you're the superintendent. What is what do you do? What's your job function?
So my job is overall management, budgeting, maintenance, public relations. So it's really all-encompassing for everything that we do in the cemetery. I've got a crew of 7 full-time people who are just excellent. So they make
year-round?
very
7
easy.
people year-round?
No, we scale back a little bit in the wintertime. Obviously, this time of year, we're doing all of the landscape maintenance. So that
which is mega.
Tremendous.
I mean, maintain a summer camp, and this spring the grass is growing better than it has in years.
Yeah, it's been a good summer so far for the grass.
I can't wait for it to burn up.
It hasn't slowed down
Please
yet.
slow down, burn up.
Yeah. We expect it to. Our cemetery is very sandy, so it's it doesn't hold a lot of water. There's not a lot of topsoil there, but that grass just keeps right on growing.
Yeah,
Matt, for those that are listening, and like almost everyone knows, but tell them where Wiltwick Cemetery is. And
So
sometimes they get confused with
Sure.
Montrepose.
Yes, that does happen all the time. So Wiltwick Cemetery is at the end of Pine Grove Avenue, just past the YMCA, go all the way to the end.
Beautiful new. In a few years, when those trees leaf out, that's
Yeah.
like you couldn't have asked for a better entrance way to your.
Pine Grove Avenue. There's not a pine on it anymore, but
That's true.
Lots of new trees that the city planted there.
We have a caller?
We have a number.
Oh, yeah, all right, give it to me.
Your number for the Elks Lodge is 845-428-9850.
All right.
845-428-9850. I know there was a listener or two that really wanted that number.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Paula.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no pines on Pine Grove Avenue.
No,
It doesn't happen.
no.
I'm sure they're cut down and burned for heat a long time ago.
Yeah, many years ago. So, and then the most visible area of our cemetery is along West O'Reilly Street. It's on either side there at the back entrance to the hospital. So that's where most people see us, and those are our newest sections.
So is that like your eastern border?
That would be
roughly.
Yes.
So where does the land go to? Like, because Pine Grove Avenue.
So it connects. If you go all the way down the end of Pine Grove Avenue, you enter our
That ends into your
That
gate.
ends into our gate, and that's the oldest section of the cemetery. That dates back to the 1800s. And then our newest section is there by what everybody kind of knows as Benedictines. I know it's not Benedictine anymore, but the hospital back
On the other side of West O'Reilly.
Correct, on both sides of West O'Reilly
yeah,
Street.
yeah.
So our office and the crematory are just inside the gates off of West O'Reilly Street, and that's the big yellow building on the hill up above the community mausoleum.
So on the other side, like if you're driving down Pine Grove, that's like the left border. Where's is your right border? How far does that go down to, like the
It goes down
railroad
to the
track?
railroad tracks. Yeah, we go right up against the railroad tracks.
Huh.
How much acreage do you have?
There's 85 acres there.
Wow.
5 acres. That's a lot to
That's like
maintain.
It's a lot to maintain.
Put a golf course in there.
No.
No, but I'm saying on 85 acres, though, right? Couldn't
Yeah.
you put-
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And some other 85 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
wow.
so,
we still
that
have-
puts things in perspective that's
Yeah.
right? An 18-hole golf
You-
course?
You actually border Twaskill.
Twaskill, we do.
Yes, I
we do.
know
We
that
actually have
from-
a lease agreement with Twaskill.
Yes, right. Yeah.
As does Montrepose.
Yeah.
So we border Ben 18 Hospital, the parking lots,
Big chunk of land.
and a lot of the wooded area in between the hospital and Twaskill.
And you got a lot of wooded area as opposed to the used area where the
Developed
markers
correct.
Developed area?
We have almost as much undeveloped area as,
Oh,
as
wow.
we have developed area, and it totals 85
Wow.
acres.
Huh.
Oh, that's
And is that other undeveloped area suitable for future use?
It is
Because
with some work, but yes,
history,
yes.
we're moving forward. So
Correct. Like you said earlier, cemetery is a business.
Forever business.
And we want it to be a financially healthy business so that the cemetery can continue to look the way it does. There are many cemeteries around that you can see haven't managed their business as well, and the landscape and the management of the cemetery kind of reflects that. So it's very important that we have room to grow and that we're looking to the future, which I'm really fortunate that we have a dedicated cemetery board that is always looking to the future of what's next. So we have land to expand.
Just the investment over the last few years, the crematorium.
Yes.
I happen to know it's high tech, expensive. It was a gamble to a degree to, make that investment and.
It was. So 2 years ago, well, a little bit longer than that, 2 years ago, it was completed that the board of directors or board of trustees decided to build this modern crematory. And it's a beautiful building, and it's not at all what I'm concerned people might envision for a crematory. It's not a scary, dark place. It's not a whatever your worst nightmare of what a crematory might look like.
From
it's
a
nothing like
horror
that.
movie or
Right,
something.
yeah.
Correct. I would honestly compare it more to the setting or the feeling would probably be similar to a funeral home. It is welcoming, it is warm, it's a comfortable place to sit. So we actually offer a service that's referred to as witness and lighting. For many years, people have had that final graveside service for their loved one, and many people don't get that experience if they choose cremation. So we can have a service at the crematory where people can come witness the beginning of the cremation process, or they can even participate in the beginning of the
Which
cremation
is like a
process.
point of closure, similar
Correct.
to, I'm not trying to be more, but, interring a body is like a point of
Correct.
finality for
Correct.
your loved ones. And wow, that's
It's
cool.
exactly true.
Not
And,
cool,
and
but
now
it's-
that it's certainly
Neat.
different,
Well, that's the
and
word.
it's an excellent alternative or another option for
Yeah.
people
Huh.
to experience that sense of closure.
You know, you spoke about the cemetery going back to the 1800s. So there's a lot of history also in Wiltwyck Cemetery,
Yes.
correct?
Absolutely. So every street name in the city of Kingston, you can find one of those family members
I believe
buried in our cemetery. So
Now,
I'm
did
curious
it-
about the book you discussed earlier.
He has a whole section
Well,
on that.
listen at 8:30.
I will.
Steve is
I
coming
will.
in. So.
I'm looking forward to that.
Now,
Can I just ask one other
Yeah,
question
yeah,
quickly? So Nancy Shando, Friends of Historic Kingston, came on, and they had found this, for lack of a better word, manuscript where it actually documented all of the stones and the sayings that were on the stones, because many of the stones have been worn throughout the
Dutch.
years, and
Correct,
you cannot
yeah.
read them at the Old Dutch
Yes.
Cemetery, church. Do you find that at Wiltwyck Cemetery too, some of the stones have deteriorated over the years, and it's difficult to read them and so forth, or are they in decent condition?
Some of ours, I think we're really fortunate. I'm not sure why. It may be an age issue that ours aren't quite as old as the ones at the Old Dutch Church. But we also, my predecessors, the superintendents before me, took great care in caring for the stones themselves. So just like every other cemetery, we've had stones that have deteriorated over the years and fallen or broken.
Too.
And
Sandstone, for instance,
very,
erodes
very
away.
soft.
Granite's
Yep.
going to be there forever.
Exactly, exactly. But my predecessors have been very good about caring for the monuments and putting them back together if there's a problem and preserving them to the best of our ability. And I'm carrying that on, that this is our history. You can see
is,
all of Kingston's
absolutely.
history in this cemetery. So, and we have some great volunteers that help in the cemetery, and one gentleman in particular, Walt Wachowski, he spends a lot of time cleaning and taking care of the monuments, and he's strictly a volunteer. He does it out of the love of the history of the city.
Yeah, I know the name. He's
Yes.
guy's been involved in our community for a
Yeah,
long time.
wonderful guy.
Yeah. Now, did any particular church or group or religion start the cemetery? Does it have a
No, it is a community cemetery. So
Really? Even from day one?
We serve all faiths. Some of the history of the cemetery I find kind of fascinating, that one of the things that we came across was when families started buying land in the cemetery, one of the things they were fighting over was, you own the trees. And people were trying to log the trees off of it. It must have still been a forest at that point.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
But the whole place is just really amazing and full of that rich history, which I'm still learning. When I first started, Paul O'Neill came
yes.
and took me on a tour, and it was almost overwhelming.
Yeah,
He's
yes,
such
yes,
a
and
wealth of knowledge.
Paul is, and it's all here up in his head, and he's just
exactly.
amazing.
We were about halfway through my tour of the cemetery, and I thought, why did I not take notes for this?
yeah, right?
We were just going for a walk, but what a wealth of knowledge. So we do historical tours. We have one coming up sometime probably in August. We don't have a date set for that yet. But we like to share the history of the cemetery, and you can easily see how it ties in with the history of Kingston, too. So we have some great volunteers that have taken on that project. of sharing the history and doing
Oh, that's
these walking
great.
tours.
You'll have to call in or let us know when that date
Absolutely.
is determined.
Yeah.
Because that would be a wonderful thing for people to be able to participate in.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really.
Last summer
tell
we
a
did an
story.
arboriculture tour where we had a local
Oh, wow, that's
arborist
cool.
take us through,
yeah.
because we have a really diverse
I was going to say,
forest.
what's going on in there?
So we are fortunate again that my predecessors cared about this property as much as I do, and they took care of the trees and they planted new trees on a regular basis.
Diversity.
Very diverse. We have some trees. We have one oak tree that was recently dated to be 350 years old.
Wow.
It's absolutely
Like
monstrous.
white oak?
It's a white oak.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
I'm surprised it stood that long. 'Cause, I mean, boat building, white oak tree. Oh
Yeah.
my God, white oak.
Right,
that's
exactly.
like
Exactly.
desperate for that.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that it
150 years
lasted-
ago, it was probably a big tree 100 years ago.
Exactly. Oh, it absolutely
Now,
was.
were you hit bad with like ash borer or?
So we've lost some trees. We recently lost a large pine tree to pine beetle. But I monitor these things very carefully. We have some hemlocks left
Really?
that are
Wow.
still doing pretty well.
That's the aldigid, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And we try and take care of
You
those.
treat those or?
No, we don't treat them. We try and stay I shouldn't say try to stay. So far, we have been able to stay completely organic.
Wow.
Even for our weed control, we stay completely organic, and we have areas of the
You got
cemetery.
billy goats out there?
We do have.
Do you really?
Yeah, we had a goat. We had a
Come
goat.
in? Oh, yeah, because
we had a goat. We
Yeah,
fenced
that
him
is.
in.
Yeah,
And,
that's huge. They love poison ivy.
Loves poison ivy and sumac, and we have a lot of wineberry bushes, which are very thorny, terrible material, and he loved it and cleared this entire area for us. And we got a little write-up in some landscape maintenance magazines about
Yeah.
trying to
That's
take
cool.
a greener alternative. And from a business point of view, it's not just that it's greener, but it's less expensive too. It didn't cause us to have to spend payroll on that project. We could focus on other projects
yeah,
for the
that's
beautification
cool.
of the cemetery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you paying the goat?
Yes, we
Okay.
pay him in poison ivy and
Food and water and,
Yes.
and a nice straw bed at night.
and a lot of attention. He garnered a lot of
Oh,
attention.
I'm sure
when he was
people
there.
stop by to see him.
Yep.
Now I'm going to ask a
absolutely.
silly question, but where do you find a goat to do such a thing? I mean,
My daughter has a goat. It's a 4-H
oh,
project. yeah.
really?
Oh, okay. So there are companies that
Okay.
come
We
in and
joke-
fence off.
They
area
are.
to
There
do
are.
those.
Absolutely. But this is my daughter's goat, and so yeah, it was just take your goat to work day, and
That's
I
funny,
loaded him in
yeah.
the truck and took him.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So your daughter does 4-H?
She does. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she does a lot of different 4-H projects. So.
Hearts, home, health, heart, happiness, or health, home, heart.
Oh, I couldn't. Yeah.
My
I
sister,
can't
my
if I
mom's a
tried.
4-H.
Oh, really? Okay.
My sister was in it
Yeah.
a long time ago.
So now you've been there for a year?
I have. Yeah, I've just passed my 1-year anniversary.
Okay, and prior to that, you had another hat for many, many years that
I
everybody
did.
in the community knew you. Maybe we just talk about that transition from being a businessman on your own to what you're doing now.
You know what? It's actually really important, and I didn't realize how important it was until I kind of got into the job. But yes, my business background locally, I was self-employed as a landscape contractor for 25 years.
And a very good one, if I must say so myself, and I can attest to that because my mother has a beautiful backyard because of that.
Your
so go
mother's
ahead.
so fun to work with.
Oh, thank you.
So I took that business background and kind of brought it into the cemetery. And as we discussed a little while ago, the cemetery is a business. We have families that we care for and that we answer to. So that's very important that they're not an interruption to our day. They're the purpose of our day. So we care for these families who have entrusted their loved ones to us. And we have to provide service. And the better service we provide, the more people that are going to choose to have their cremation at Wiltwyck Cemetery or to bury their loved one at Wiltwyck Cemetery. And that's good for business.
Absolutely.
So it's better service we provide, the more people that utilize us.
And it's an emotional decision.
Absolutely.
It truly is. It's a time when you're grieving. It's a difficult time in your life. Or individuals choose prior to passing away where they want their final resting place to be. And again, that's a very emotional decision. So you're absolutely right. it is a business, and you have to treat it as such.
Correct. And it's a pleasure to work at Wiltwick because we have so many options available for people. We have our indoor mausoleum, so we have crypt space as well as cremation niche spaces available within the mausoleum, and then we have traditional in-ground burials throughout the cemetery, and we have new options that a lot of people aren't as familiar with, called estate columbariums, which looks like a regular cemetery monument, but it has spaces within it for cremated remains. So we have a lot of different options, and,
Now,
and that we're very proud of.
I've heard natural burial or
Green burial. Green
Is
burial,
that
yeah.
an option or available, or is there?
So people can choose to do that. They can have a green burial. What you might be referring to is some cemeteries have areas that are referred to as a green burial area, which there's actually some criteria for what does that mean. It means that to be truly green burial, machinery is not used to dig the hole. There's no manufactured products used in the burial. So people are not embalmed.
Plain box?
Plain pine box, yep. Usually cotton shroud or something along those lines. So there's very strict criteria, and then those areas are not maintained. So it's either forest or a meadow of some sort, but there's no mowing, there's no anything like that going on there. So
concern has to be taken with groundwater or downstream drainage in those things.
In any section of cemetery, those things are considered
because of
new sections
contamination.
are
I mean,
developed.
you can't. That can
Sure,
not to be
yeah,
gross,
absolutely.
but you can contaminate groundwater
Correct.
underneath that.
Yes.
One, do you guys does Whitwick Cemetery offer that service, and would it be feasible for you to look into that?
We offer a green burial service, but we offer it within the regular maintained areas of the cemetery.
Okay.
So if someone chooses to be buried as green as possible, we can offer that service.
That's cool.
We don't yet have a dedicated area to it, and I'll be honest with you, it is a business decision of we're not quite sure, is this a fad or it's too new? So for me to dedicate an area to the cemetery forever, it takes up a lot of space and land is limited. Part of my responsibility is to look out 100 years from now to make sure that this cemetery is still active, still operating, and still
I mean, we've all been driving through Queens, and those cemeteries that are like back to back, toe to
bursting at the
toe.
seams. Yes.
You can't hold your breath. When you're a little kid, you hold your breath past them. You can't hold your breath driving past them. They're huge.
Yeah, they are. And thankfully, our cemeteries locally are spread out a lot nicer.
Yeah.
than
Well,
that.
100 years now, population is growing. Eventually,
Right,
Kingston
there's
is
gonna
going to be
issues.
like Westchester. It's just the world is growing, and 500 years in the future, Wiltwick might look like that. So.
Interestingly, it's cremation is becoming more and more common. Traditional burials drop year over year, and cremations increase year over year.
A theory on that?
I believe so. I think funeral directors would tell you that it may be cost related. I think overall a cremation funeral is less expensive than a traditional burial. But I think we've certainly seen within the pandemic that people have become more comfortable with cremation. So I think it's not quite as mysterious as it has been in the past. I can just speak for my own family, but 20 or 25 years ago, I don't think anybody would have considered cremation in
Aren't
my...
like strict Catholics and strict Jews, like, isn't that?
So I don't want to speak as an authority on that, but yes,
as I recall, I
don't
remember
think-
you're supposed to be buried, and that's it.
Well, the Catholic faith recognizes cremation now, except you have to bury the remains. You can't
Correct. You
take
can't
the urn
scatter
and put it,
them.
or scatter them, or put the urn on your fireplace.
Correct. There has to be a final...
Yes, there has to be a final. Yeah, there has to be a final resting place. Yes.
Correct. Correct. So
for the
that we have
Catholic
done.
faith.
Yep.
Yes.
But we do. One of the things I love most about my job is how all the different faiths and cultures that we serve. So obviously, Catholic and Christian burials are very common here, but we certainly do Jewish burials, and then we have a Muslim section within the cemetery, and we serve Shiite and Sunni Muslims, which have their services differently. Yeah, so it's really fascinating, all the different faiths.
I'm sure it won't be long before a Buddhist or Hindu or
we do their cremations all the time. So
that's
their tradition.
Does that follow their beliefs? Cremation with the funeral pyre. Is it still?
Apparently, it does.
Wow.
Because we have so we open up the crematory and they have their entire service in the crematory.
Wow. Because I know with COVID in India, that was a huge. I mean, they huge problem of.
Yeah, on the news we saw their funeral.
Yeah,
pyre.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, just terrible.
Wow.
And we have discussed, I think, on the radio before about the crematorium, that it's the only one between Albany and.
So we're the only crematory in Ulster County, and from Albany to Poughkeepsie would be the next closest, and then we serve a broad area. We serve all of Ulster County, Dutchess County, up into Greene. We have funeral directors that use us, all the way down into Orange, Sullivan County. We have funeral directors that are so happy with the service that we provide, the beauty of our building, and just the fact that the family is welcome to participate in this. We have funeral directors all the time that come to us from a great distance to use our crematory.
Yeah, and I think that's very important when you embrace the family and make them part of the process, because like we were saying in the beginning of the show, the closure that comes with that is very important. So, and the crematorium is relatively new, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep, it's only 2 years old, and it's just a beautiful building. Scott Dutton designed the building, and just a beautiful building for the use and for the experience of the family to come in to participate in it. And that's something that we're trying to get the word out about that. And if anybody has a curiosity and they want to see what a crematory looks like, they can call me at our office and make an appointment. Obviously, we have to be very careful of privacy of the people we're serving, but there are times of the day and of the week where we can have people come in to see it, so that we can take that mystery away of what is a crematory and how does it operate. And we find that people get a lot of comfort from that.
We have a phone call, Matt.
On the line now?
They're not. But the caller asked if you could provide the number for Wiltwyck Cemetery.
Our phone number is 845-331-0199.
So if anybody has any questions whatsoever in regard to the crematorium or just in general, call that number and somebody.
And we have.
Can you repeat it, Matt?
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the number?
It's 845-331-0199. We also have our website, of course. We have a Facebook page, Wiltwyck Rural Cemetery, which would be great if people would come follow our Facebook page, because I try to post on it regularly. And then we also have our YouTube channel, which only has a couple of videos on it so far. And unfortunately, the YouTube videos are of me talking about the history and operations of the cemetery. But it's been very well received so far.
Got to get the goat back. I bet people would watch a goat video.
On the Facebook page, there are videos of the goat the goat at work.
Okay, there you go. And on the YouTube, what would you put in to see?
Wiltwyck Rural Cemetery.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. That's great. This half hour went
very
quickly.
I told you it was going to go quick.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. So interesting.
What does the word rural have to do? Is that like part of a designation or something?
Yeah, just the way it was named so many years ago.
Oh, okay. It doesn't mean like a class or a certification level or something like that?
No. But again, we are a community cemetery serving everyone, so we're not just one religious affiliation.
You have to be licensed or certified, or could I start a cemetery in my backyard?
Oh, yeah, I don't think you could. New York State, we answer to the New York State Division of Cemeteries. That is the government body that oversees cemeteries in the state. And there's a lot of regulatory checks and boxes that we have to check off here to operate, and we get inspected on a regular basis, which I always welcome. But yeah, the state
annual,
monitors cemeteries very
biannual?
carefully. We get, so in the crematory, we get surprise visits.
Oh, wow.
They just show up at the
More
door.
than one a year?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely, several a year.
Huh.
So we welcome that, and it's very good to be able to have an inspector come in and double check our work and make sure everything is running exactly as it should.
Yeah.
And then within our own staff, we have several layers of checks and balances as well, that no one individual completes a cremation by themselves. We have a second individual that always comes in to check and verify everything is going exactly as it should.
That's just to make sure no switches,
No problems.
switches were accidentally
No,
hit,
no, no.
or dials
exactly.
were maintained and whatever.
Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
That's
So-
great. I mean, that's best practices speaks well for
Exactly.
your operation. So
Exactly.
that's great.
Exactly.
So
And I'm really fortunate. The guys that I work with are true professionals, compassionate, and truly care about everyone we serve and everyone that comes through our
well,
facility.
that's wonderful to hear, because that's toughest time in your life is when you need the best
Correct.
people around you. So
Correct.
Good to hear.
Very true.
Great. Well, Matt, look at we chewed through a half hour. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
Love
Thank
to
you.
have you on
It
again
was
in
a
the
pleasure.
future sometime. And thank you so
I'll
much.
let
for
you
your
know when
time.
we do some historical tours, so
Please
everybody.
do, yeah. Call up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Dan, take it away.
Thank you, Nina Poshapak, Cameron Rylance, and a very, very special thanks to Matt Tierney from Wiltwyck Cemetery. And you are listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. It's 79 degrees now here in Uptown Kingston. Keep that water flowing and keep it as cool as you can. Tuesday, June 29th, record highs. It's going to be 94 today. This portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston. Sunshine starts the day, then some afternoon clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. A high of 94 today. Tonight, some clouds this evening, then mainly clear skies, a low of 72. Wednesday, sunny in the morning, then increasing clouds, bringing a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, a high of 94. And Wednesday night, cloudy with a low of 69. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223 CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, my name's Maggie. I'm from Copiague, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the home of Kingston Community Radio. My name is Dan Gatis, and it is 8:04 a.m. this Tuesday, June 29th, and 79 degrees now here already in Uptown Kingston. This segment of KCR is brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club, serving the Kingston-Ulster County area since 1941. Call them, 901-9067. Kingston Lions Club, 901-9067. And let's get back to the on-air studio. I think we're ready to get back to the on-air studio with Nina Postupak and Cameron Rylance.
Thank you,
And
Dan.
we are back.
We are, and it's a birthday segment of our show. And we have a birthday, right, Cameron?
We have one, so
All
hey,
right.
we got one. You're 100%
Take it.
winners. So Tuesday, June 29th, we want to wish Joan Sissom a very happy birthday from your friend at the Rosendale Seniors.
Happy birthday, Joan.
And of course, we failed to mention that, but this is the Boyce Brothers Dairy Cow Pie birthday giveaway, the daily cow pie giveaway. And our good friends at 62 O'Neill Street, great sponsors forever and ever, giving away hundreds and hundreds of cow pies every year to our faithful listeners.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we should guarantee that there's 365 cow pies gone from Boyce Dairy Milk House every year.
A year. That's
but
right.
people don't call in.
And they've
they
been
don't
doing
give
this
us
for
our...
like 10 years, so
Yeah.
lots of cow pies. So
Some
please,
days we go by and there isn't, there aren't birthdays.
exactly. If I was eligible, I'd win. I'm not.
Put my name
Nor
in, that's
you,
for
yeah,
sure.
you know.
Yeah, I would too.
There we go. Fake name. But
Fake name.
so that interesting, Matt. We could
Yes,
have kept on for
absolutely,
an hour,
yes.
but I'm sure he's busy.
Very,
this
very
time.
interesting. Yes. And really a good point that he made is the history aspect of cemeteries that and you don't know how many individuals call our office all the time because if you're doing any type of genealogy research, one of the go-to places is cemeteries and burial records to help you trace back your ancestors. And it seems like Matt's really embraced the history of the cemetery, and I think the walking tour in August will be very interesting to
Absolutely.
attend. Yeah, and
You know, I know through other sources that there's some famous people in there, historically significant.
right.
You know, there's famous people and there's historically significant people. Often they're not the same.
And maybe we can get Paul O'Neill on prior to the walking tour at Wiltwick so he can give us a little sneak preview of what you would see if you went on one of these walking tours in August, which would be really very interesting. So, and I know Nancy Shando does a phenomenal job at the Old Dutch Church with her tour there also. So, just interesting. Speaking of history, the Person House. All right, Dan, guess how many people walked through the Person House on Saturday?
652.
Oh, that's big. 266.
Okay.
But that's okay.
It's a guess. So
Yeah, he did.
But 200, that's still a lot.
266,
200
that's a
people
lot.
standing in a line.
It sure is.
266, more than we had during the burning of Kingston. So,
Wow.
yeah, we're very pleased about that. Well, it was busy. I was up there on
That's
Saturday.
is that only the people that sign the log, or are they actually taking head count? Someone got a clicker.
We do have somebody clicking, but we do go by the log. We try to get everybody to sign the log.
A big variety of.
Absolutely.
you know,
South Carolina, North Carolina, California. Yes. Amazing the amount of states that people are from. And you were just saying, Dan, off the air about the restaurant and how busy it's been at the restaurant up at, right, La Canard.
It's kind of an anomaly, but it's definitely become a kind of a world-renowned hit.
Yeah.
And there it is, right in Kingston.
Which is phenomenal. Amazing. Right?
Great things grow in Kingston.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
On Sunday, speaking of great things, I was down, took a nice long bike ride. My girlfriend Amanda got an electric bike. And
Oh,
so
nice. So the
were
two of you-
tooling all
that's
over the
great.
place. So we stopped down on Sunday. We did the rail trail, the Hutton Brickyard
Oh, yes.
trail, and we came back. We went downtown. Let's go to the farmer's market. And so we sat down.
Oh, did you
hanging
go?
out. Yeah, hanging out for a while. And my buddy Stefano from the Meat Wagon
Yes.
on Hasbrook Avenue, my butcher. he had a thing set up, a booth set up. Oh, there's, So I'm walking over, and there's two guys standing there. One big, tall guy. I knew that was him. Another guy, I had never really seen him without a mask on. So.
Oh, yeah, this is true.
Yeah, and
the people you met during the pandemic.
He was looking at me. I look at him. He recognized me before, because I'm looking at him. He's going, hey, how are you? I was like, oh, Stefan, I've only recognized you from, the tip of your nose up.
Yeah, that's very true.
He's been working. When he's been working, he's been suited up and, apron and glove and hairnet and mask and everything. So to see him like in civilian clothes at this farmer's market, it was cool.
Yeah, they say that there's different vendors down on the Strand on Sunday compared to who's there on Saturday,
yeah, I believe
which is nice. I wanted to take a ride down there on Sunday. I didn't get the opportunity to do it, but
it was also the one of the weekends of the Multicultural Festival, and it was cool and some nice turnout. It was busy down there. The only table that we could find that was available to sit in the shade was over by the bathroom.
Oh, yes, yes, I know it, yes.
Mariners Harbor was sort of, their front yard, or, it was, and then the fountain, and then the courtyard. So we were kind of far away from the stage, and couldn't exactly make out the words, but they had a couple of little speeches, and I'm going to assume it was Pook, the percussion orchestra, or I'm assuming it was, but could have been some other drumming, organization. They're doing their performance, and, it was great, It was awesome. People walking around and boats and whatever.
Yeah, I was
Downtown
down there
was awesome on Sunday.
Later in the day on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, and it was absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
And did you
More
see
towards
that
dinner time?
That yacht that was anchored out in Kingston?
Yeah. That's amazing,
Unbelievable.
right? Yeah, huge.
I heard it. Paul Hakeem talked about it. My son, looked it up. It's like $65,000 a week to rent it. Sleeps 12. Crew of 20, and it like sleeps 12. I guess there's like.
It's almost two crew members to each occupant.
Yeah, but like 8 staterooms. I guess each stateroom was like $1,500.
Well, $5,000 per person is not a lot.
Yeah, it's all
right.
Nothing.
So,
I got that.
Yeah, I mean for a nice vacation, some not too terrible if you break it down and divide it by 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Not bad.
Dan.
If you got all 12 people.
Right.
But it was some vessel, boy.
Yeah, amazing, right? It was. Yeah. It was huge. Speaking of vessels, I think this, and Bill Merchant had spoke about this on one of the shows, but the Solaris out of the Maritime Museum, they have quite a few. I was looking the other day, different options. You could go during the day. You can go when someone's giving a talk on certain subjects.
That'd be cool.
Yes, you can go on a sunset cruise. They have a wine cruise. I mean, there's all different options, and very affordable, $25 a person. And the Solaris, it was built at the Maritime Museum, right? And it's solar.
Boat.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. Silent.
Right. Yeah. I'm really excited to try it. I'm going to definitely
because
pick a weekend when I have time to do it.
So much of boating around here, like people that live around here, if they trailer the boat, they bring it to the marina, hop in, and head to the river. It's always like if you have your boat, at one of the marinas, you go down, you load it up. Boom, you head to the river. It's like the river. I think the Solaris is cool because it's not. It goes up the creek, and it talks about the history along the creek, and
yes,
the brick, the boatyards, the ice houses, the canal. I mean that Lock 1, the Eddyville Falls. Is huge technological feat. How do you get a boat full of coal ore up and over a waterfall?
Yeah, good point.
Seeing that kind
absolutely.
of stuff. And, then the two bridges, the suspension bridge, which, next year I guess they're going to start working on it again?
Oh, I know. When we're
2023 or something, you're going to start working on it, something like that?
When we were walking on the Strand on Sunday, you go right underneath that bridge, and we looked up, and it's like, oh, yes, that definitely needs to be worked on,
rust up there,
Yeah, it's not looking so good right now, and especially after that tragedy that happened in Miami. You become even more aware of things like that. That was just horrible.
The hotel.
Yes, the collapsing of the condo.
Remember a few years ago that bridge collapsed in Florida?
I do remember
was that the university or whatever?
Yeah, the university. Yeah. It was a I think a walkway bridge where you walked across. But yeah, that was terrible what happened in Miami this past weekend.
Yeah.
And to see that building
just
collapse
like
that.
the catastrophic failure.
Yes,
I mean,
it just
just
crumbled,
crazy, yeah.
went right down. And you just pray and you hope that those individuals were sound asleep and never knew what happened because that's just horrible, absolutely horrible. But yeah. So anyway, that bridge is going to be worked on in the next year, and I think it really needs it. So that's a very good thing.
Because my parents live in Connolly, and it's a pain in the neck to go from out to 9W.
Oh, and to go that way, yeah.
Because I live on Fair Street, and
So you
Wilbur,
could just shoot
South Wall to Wilbur, the Roebling Bridge, straight shot all day long, easy.
Right.
Avoid Broadway. The worst part's driving around Block Park because you got that one stop sign by German Street or whatever. Other than that, it's an easy ride.
Somebody ought to start a ferry.
Yeah, well, I think they can call it the Skilly Pot or something.
I
like that,
think
right?
so.
No, but then you got to get from the creek up the hill. That's the problem with the ferry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a little bit of a walk there. Yeah, steep incline.
But super low tide. I don't know what was going on Saturday celestially, but I've been a sailor for 30 years and fisherman, river, whatever. It was like the lowest tide I've ever seen on the river. It was unbelievable.
There's got to be some.
You know where Rotary Park is? Has that little
Yes.
bridge?
Yeah.
And there's that one little lagoon that the water flows in and out of.
Right,
Like literally,
yes, yeah.
the whole lagoon was almost, it was wet, mud, but it was like almost void of water. Only in a couple of the little channels was there water. It was like, what's
Oh, that's
going
really
on?
unusual,
Like a tsunami.
yeah.
Like if you're on the beach and you see that, it means a tsunami's coming when the water sucks out. Well, it couldn't happen in Hudson, but
Yeah, I used to
it was
remember that.
remarkably low.
Yeah, there can be a convergence of where the moon is and what the time of the day
Yeah.
is and stuff like that can cause that. That
Yeah.
used to happen on City Island,
Yeah.
I remember.
And
I mean, the marina director used to call it a neap tide, but that's not exactly accurate. There's another name for that when it really goes low.
Yeah. But, I don't know if, plus it's been dry up until then for a while. Less downriver water volume. I don't know, a whole bunch of
So many
factors. But it was
conditions
like, wow, look how
affected.
low the tide is. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is. Speaking of Rotary Park, again, I was down in that
Oh,
area.
that prom thing, or the after graduation.
Yes,
prom.
I
Oh,
heard-
talking about graduation.
Oh, yes.
My son, you got to see some of these pictures. My son graduated high school on Friday. Kingston, the Kingston School District helped pull off, up to like 2 weeks ago, it was going to be 2 separate sessions. Each grad could only have one or two tickets and all this kind of stuff. But
Things changed,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
And you had a beautiful
happy
day
grad.
for it.
Isn't that a good-looking
We're looking at Cameron's son. He looks very happy.
Yeah, and then
extremely
so
happy.
He said a couple hundred kids were there, and it was a great event. They had fireworks, his grandparents.
So you were able
Look at
to.
that. His kindergarten graduation and his high school graduation. Isn't that a cool?
That is a great
I gotta hold-
picture.
if I can hold that up.
So anybody who's live streaming can see it.
Is it possible to see?
This camera.
This camera? All right.
That one, yeah. No.
Well, he's going to go around and he's going to show it. So if any,
That was my son.
Yeah,
so if
it's-
you're on the computer,
We're
you
on
can
that
see
one,
the
yeah.
I'm a
Okay.
gushing.
proud dad.
Proud father right now.
There we go. What so we have a comparison.
That was preschool at BOCES, and then that's high school. Isn't that cool?
That's a really great picture. That is great.
But,
So they did allow grandparents.
Yeah, everybody. Even though I'm divorced, we get along. So is me, his mom, my parents, her. Ben's all of Ben's grandparents, aunt and uncle. It was nice. It was cool. We sat
That's
together,
great.
but it was a normal graduation. A couple of people had their horns and signs and.
The kids really deserved it for the year they had.
A couple of kids, like when they got up on stage, they shed those party poppers or whatever, and it was cool. It was.
That's great.
And of course, 3 minutes into the ceremony, some kid comes running across the field that was late and missed the lineup. They're
Always that one.
Whatever
Yeah.
reason they're late. Whatever, and sneaks into their chair and. It was funny.
And then afterwards, they had the celebration at Rotary Park, right?
Which was great. Food and music and fireworks. Actually, we were taking a bike ride, actually, and I forget where we were. We couldn't see the fireworks, but where we were, the sky was lit up. You could hear it. It was like, whoa, it was like a nice display.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we actually were up. We were riding our bikes. We were by Greenkill Avenue and looking down Broadway. You could see the sky light up. From the humidity in the air.
Right.
But yeah, and then I saw my son the next afternoon. He wasn't home too early that night because then he went to a party at his buddy's house and they slept there. But yeah, congratulations to the class of 2021.
Yeah, congratulations.
And then last night was the prom. Where
did they have the prom, Cameron?
I'm a bad parent. I'm supposed to know.
All right, that's okay. But it's nice that they were able to have their prom, their graduation.
Yeah.
So, which is fantastic. And Pat Ryan spoke at the graduation.
Yeah, he did.
Right?
Yep, did a nice job. And Dr. Padalino had some words. And
your valedictorian, your salutatorian.
Yeah.
So how long was the ceremony altogether?
Wasn't bad. Hour and a half, I guess.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
How many kids in the graduating class?
300 something.
So that's really good.
I didn't get exact. I tried counting a couple of times. I got distracted and lost count.
Yeah.
Then
so
it was
for a
like,
big class like that, an hour and a half is not
it wasn't
a bad
bad.
graduation at all.
I think it was Pat Ryan was like, after I was asked to make the commencement address, I sought out a couple of, people I know that have spoken at the thing, spoken at this before, and, I spoke to Kevin Cahill, I guess he's done an address, and a couple other people, and he's like, the overwhelming piece of advice I got was be brief, and, that brought a nice chuckle from the audience.
Everybody was like, yes, we agree.
That's cool. So, I think, caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, how's everybody doing today?
George, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Nina, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Dealing with motor vehicle, I just got a release of a lien on my truck because it got paid off, thankfully. And can I bring that to your office to have the title redone, or do I have to mail that in?
No, you can bring it to the office, but you know what, George, we really tell individuals to spend the additional $50 to get a new title without the lien on it. We suggest you just keep that lien release with your title, and when you sell the vehicle, the new owner would get a clean title. In addition, now most banking institutions and financial institutions are releasing those liens electronically. So that lien has probably already been released from your record. So, we're more than happy to do a new title for individuals, but we really suggest not to spend the money, to take the time to come into the office. You're better off just putting that lien release with your title.
Okay, with the paperwork for the... Okay, very good.
Okay.
Now, George, I don't know. I know there's a special bond between a guy and his truck. But since he just paid it off, dealerships are offering ridiculous amounts of money for used cars right now.
I know because
there's such a shortage of cars.
I love my truck. I'm not trading it in.
Yeah, well, I know you like it. But once you pay it off, it's money in your pocket. If you can make more than it's worth, you might want to think about it. You never know.
It only has about 33,000 and 4 years old, and it's in great mechanical shape and everything else.
I've heard from...
I keep them till they die.
Yeah, well, that's the only way to make money out of them. Pay it off and drive it till it's dead.
I do too.
Yeah, I put it anywhere from 150 to 250,000 miles on them.
Yeah, because I have at least, it seems like 10 people have told me. 3 or 4 friends have called me, like, on lease, vehicles, or a couple of them were they were being financed. And, the financial institutions calling them, saying they'll buy out your lease to resell. It's like the GMAC, like the motor company financing. They're offering money because they can tell modern vehicles, like they know your mileage.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Even though you don't have OnStar or whatever, they can electronically access your car to find out your mileage.
Someone was telling us that. Oh, Paul Hakeem. When he was on the
radio. Yeah, that's right. They called him. That was one of them.
Bluetooth on it.
On the truck through the Bluetooth, whatever. Yeah.
I know. They got a radio know him because the dealership been calling and sending letters and stuff.
Yeah.
On trading.
Guaranteed.
I know what I got. I know it runs good. I keep the maintenance up on it.
Yep.
And I enjoy the truck, the way it is. I love the way it handles and all that. But good. So that saves me a trip in. And the only thing I got to do, Nina, is come upstairs upstairs to your office where I've got 3 original charters for the town of Esopus American Legion that we was going to store up in the vault or whatever you guys have up there.
The archives?
Yes. Definitely stop up, George, and we'll take a look at it and see what you have. Yes.
Yeah, because they're the original charters and original membership for the town of Esopus American Legion.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Who, by the way, did the flag burning retirement ceremony last night at the town of Esopus Town Hall, even though it was 95 degrees.
Oh, it was
wow.
warm.
You guys had a ceremony? The Legion did?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, due to the heat, it wasn't very well attended, but hey, we did ceremoniously retire some old U flags, and a lot of them was from the different cemeteries around the area that we keep on Memorial Day weekend. We put new flags out every year.
Right.
And the old ones that we bring back in, I stick the flags, that take all the sticks off of them, or else we'd be there all night burning. And so we was able to get that done and stuff last night, even with the heat and stuff. And I want to thank the Port Ewan Fire Department and the gentleman who was there to assist us in doing the service and all that. So
cool.
It was a great night, warm night, but hey, we did what we were supposed to do. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm tired of flying.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for being on every week and everything else. We look forward to hearing you in the mornings and all that, and all the other hosts and stuff. And we really do appreciate KCR. So
thank you, George. We appreciate our listeners.
Yeah, thanks for being a faithful listener.
And we also really appreciate our motor vehicle department, is fantastic, best in the state. To get things in, get done, and get what you need to be done without having to spend the whole day there. So,
thank you, George. Thank you so much.
You guys have an excellent 4th of July weekend.
You too.
And
Happy 4th.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. Thank you,
bye
George.
now.
Bye now. So George just reminded me of something. Speaking about motor vehicle, we just on our Facebook page. We and our website, and we just put out a press release. Our motor vehicle bus will be going back on the road starting July 8th. We'll be in New Paltz, and July 9th we'll be up in Shandaken. And then the following week, which is the 13th, we will resume our normal schedule of Mondays in Marlborough, Tuesdays in Saugerties, Wednesdays in Ellenville, Thursday in New Paltz, and then Friday in Shawangum and Walk Hill. Every Friday, except the first Friday of the month, we are up in Shandaken, and our hours are 10 to 1 and then 2 to 3:30. So we're very excited to get the motor vehicle bus back out on the road. And, of course, we do all motor vehicle transactions, excluding CDL testing, commercial driver's license testing, enforcement transactions, and our enhanced driver's licenses. Enhanced driver's license takes 2 employees to do that transaction, and since there's only 2 employees on the motor vehicle bus, we're not able to do that. But all other, including regular Class D permit testing, can be done on the bus. You can get a real ID on the bus, as well as a standard driver's license. So again,
You're starting to do vaccinations on the bus.
Yeah, there you go. Get your driver's license renewed and get vaccinated.
Right.
A little bit
or
of
they
both,
couple
right?
it with the mobile van. They should go to the same schedule.
Yeah, right. With
Right?
That's a good
something.
idea. That's a great idea. Because there will be a huge turnout because people have been waiting for the bus.
Pent up.
Yeah.
Now, is that reservation or is it first come, first
No,
serve?
first come, first serve, because we don't have the ability to do appointments on the bus because there is no kiosk there. There's no way to get the number and so forth. So, it'll be a first come, first serve, and we're going to try to manage that the best we can in the beginning. And, people don't realize if you live in Kingston, it's convenient to come up to the county office building. But if you live down in Ellenville, you literally, it takes you an hour to get here, say an hour to get everything done by the time you park, you come into the office, and then an hour back. That's 3 hours of your day to do a motor vehicle transaction. And if you work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you actually have to take time
you
off.
got to take half a day.
Yeah. So, especially in areas like that, Ellenville, Marlborough, down in Walk Hill, it really is a huge service to individuals. New Paltz also. Saugerties were a little closer, but they're the northern most town in Ulster County. And, you know, those towns were really chosen back in 1987 when Al Spada first put the motor vehicle bus on the road. And we've maintained that. And the only additional one that I've added is Waukeil, Sean. So I added that when I became county clerk. But yeah.
Well, it grew, population grew down there.
Yes, it did. It did. And, you know, sometimes because Waukeil is so much, you know, the southern part of our county, we forget sometimes that it's part of Ulster County and the services that we offer in Ulster County. So I was pleased to be able to do that. And we need to go to break. And in the next half hour, Steve Blauwas.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nina Poshapak, Cameron Rylance. And you are listening to Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club. And you can call them at 845-901-9067 for more information. 79 degrees now here in Uptown Kingston, and it's Tuesday, June 29th. And let's see what we're doing with the weather today. Sunshine starts the day, then some afternoon clouds, a stray shower or a thunderstorm is possible later today, a high of 94. Tonight, some clouds this evening, then mainly clear skies with a low of 72. Wednesday, sunny in the morning, then increasing clouds, bringing a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms on Wednesday during the day, and a high of 94. Wednesday night, cloudy with a low of 69. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, my name's Maggie. I'm from Copiague, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
And you're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. This is a talk show, so call in, 331-9255. You can always call in and talk to our hosts and guests anytime, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. And this upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Rondout Savings. Rondout Savings' approach to community banking puts you and the growth of your business in front of everything they do. And they're a different kind of bank and would like to show you why. So please reach out to one of their expert business bankers for an appointment and let them show you what they can do for you. Rondout Savings, always working for you in the community, with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park, and also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Let's get back to the on-air studio with Nina Poshapak, Cameron Rylance, and our new guests.
Thank you, Dan. Well, we are excited, right,
and
Cameron?
Let's dig right in. So,
yes.
Nina?
We're going to tell the story of historic Kingston in the next half hour, right? And we have Karen Barelowitz. Thank you. And Stephen Blawas here with us. And we are so excited to talk about their new book, which Stephen pointed out to me weighs 4 pounds. So you can imagine the information that's in it. And I'm going to turn it over to the two of you, and maybe you can start with telling us how this came to be and what drove you to do this book, and tell us a little bit about the chronological order of it.
I'll let Karen start, but I just want to remind everyone that this is a draft copy, because when we're on different shows and around, and we do have this draft copy that we're looking at right now, and looks very finished, although there's still a lot to be written. There's at least 2 pounds of writing to still do. And so I just want to remind everyone that we're still working on it. And Karen, you want to take it from that question?
Sure. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Karen.
Goodness, the history of it. Well, many of you know that Stephen Blauweis was co-director, co-producer of The Lost Rondout, and then I started working with him shortly after that, and we just had this enormous collection of historic photographs and did lots of museum quality exhibitions around town, and we decided out of that process to do a book about the old post office with some really rare photographs, and we really had a wonderful time just between our two areas of expertise and interest putting together a book. So a book is very much like a film in terms of telling a story. I also really enjoy doing research and writing, and Stephen, of course, is a graphic designer and excellent with the visuals, and so we had a really wonderful time kind of putting all of our background and experience and skills into the format of a book, which is, of course, very different than an event or a film or an exhibition. And that came out in 2018, and there's so much more to tell. That was very focused on Midtown, so we thought Kingston history in general is just so full of wonderful information for 400 years. And we initially were going to do a book about Uptown Kingston, because the first book was about Midtown, and Stevens and Lynn Wood's film was about Rondout. But telling the story of Kingston, it's just so broad. Everything in the area impacted Kingston, like the mountain houses and the D&H Canal and everything on the Hudson River. And
historically, Uptown is 400 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
Downtown was industrial light because of the waterfront and
Right.
the railroads, and so they're both, you can't, their history is too
Exactly.
important to prioritize one.
Exactly, and we started saying, okay, well, do we mention, the Cornell and Kirkendall? Well, of course, because they impacted Kingston, but Uptown. So we decided to broaden it to be a full history of Kingston, and then even more, a history of Ulster County, because of so many things that were happening in the area, out in the Catskills and the mountains, and with the canal, and everything on the river and everything. And so that's why it turned into 450 pages, which I felt very intimidated by as it started to grow.
This is a tome. You officially have produced a tome, right?
Yeah,
I think that's
it is. That's why as soon as we got that draft copy, I took it up to my scale. I said, how much does this thing weigh? I'm not going to be able to carry like 3 copies at the same time. But so that's the history of it. We've had a real wonderful time.
Christmas and Thanksgiving right here.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said there's more to be written or finalized. How much more writing do you have to do before you're going to say that's it, print it, sell it?
Well, technically half, if you look at the book. I mean, it's all laid out. So we're constantly researching stuff, literally like every day. And there's, even when we know a subject, we have to tap in and we say, you do that, I'll find this. And, we just kind of keep going, diving in. Luckily, we've gotten to know many of the locals, historians over the years who have come to really trust us, the organizations who allow us to just have total access to all of their archives and all the stories that we can vet. The experts who, besides Gene Donner and Bill Merchant, and we say, check this for us, and there's so many things to always cull and things. So we're still working on even the things that are finished.
It would seem like churches would be good.
Yep, that's in there.
Repositories of history and, neighborhoods and
Absolutely.
Stuff. Is that true at
Well,
all?
particularly
the old secretary, the retired church secretary,
Yeah.
remembered everyone on that,
That's absolutely true, and of course the county office has a lot of stuff that they're probably the best of all.
And the Old Dutch Church has an incredible
And that was my
record.
next thing that I was going to say. Of all of the churches, that's the real king of all.
Because I was thinking, there was the Polish Catholic Church, there was the Irish Catholic Church, there was the Italian Catholic, those. and
Yeah.
the neighborhoods, Pankaki, Wilbur.
Yeah.
They sort of cool.
It's a little spotty, and things like it. Unfortunately, it could have probably been done a little better if people thought about it. When you're in it, living the history,
and
you don't
stuff
really
gets
think
destroyed
about
and
really
lost.
archive, of course. And Kingston has not a great reputation of keeping its, architectural history. And then, of course,
I don't think that's a Kingston. That's probably universal, I would think.
it is universal.
Every- you know.
Absolutely. That's an American,
well,
moniker. And then,
Way of progress until
and
you
then-
realize you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also with the city hall, when they abandoned it, for 20 years and records were lost into the
Yes.
attic and, so anyway.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Yeah, we speak about the newspaper now, the Freeman, right? And they're moving, and they have, oh my God, 100 years worth of photos that right now there's no home for them. So we're working very hard to find a home because those are the
Good.
things that happen, and they end up in dumpsters, gone forever, and they have such historical significance, and they tell such a story of a community, and especially photographs. And in this book, there's 850 photographs, if I read somewhere, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's a cliche, but a picture tells a picture's worth 1,000 words, and but it is the truth. Everybody can look at the same picture and see so many different things, and with the writing and with the description that you have on each of these pages, it just enhances the story. And when I was speaking to you guys, one of the pictures that really hit home for me, of course, being a county employee for 41, soon to be 42 years next week, was the
congrats.
picture. I have the picture of the county office building with the old county office building in front of it in my office, but I have never seen the picture that's in this book where the old county office building was being demolished, and it's an amazing
Juxtaposition. Right?
yeah, it
Glass
really
menagerie.
is. And then
Yeah.
in front of it. And so I had to say a little shout out here to Al Spada because he always tells the story that he actually started in the old county office building. And when they put the new one up, he remembers taking all those books and all our records out of the front building and out of the back door and bringing them into the county office building.
Wow,
So
that's
it's amazing to think a building sat on that actual front lawn. But to see the picture, you can understand it.
Yeah.
And glass menagerie was coined in this station, from this station, Harry Thayer.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we
That's
have that in
right.
the book as well. We tell
Yes.
some of the
Now, speaking of that, there's a little section, or is that a separate book?
No, on radio.
Yeah, we have
is
we have
that
a
part of this
spread,
book?
absolutely, in the back, further later.
Yeah, because
quite a
Harry
bit.
Thayer was a legendary local broadcaster. He was, part investigative journalist, part, ad man.
Just before that.
page before that. Yeah.
Keep going back a touch.
Yeah, we have a whole section on
And we have
newspapers, radio. I mean, you can't. Right before that. Yeah, there you are. WGHQ. Yeah.
And Mary Margaret McBride, which many people don't remember, had such one. She was the first lady of radio, literally in America. She had so many cutting edge. She started in the city. She was one of the early feminists. She developed the very first talk show format, even before like Oprah and stuff in the 40s. She was known all over. She had like a birthday celebration.
6 to 8 million listeners a day.
Yeah. She had like 10,000 or more at Madison Square Garden celebration for her birthday,
Wow.
things like that. And then she winds up here at the end of her career, things like that.
Yeah, here you say Whitney and Harry Thayer talked McBride into doing a live radio show on GHQ 3 times a week. So, which is amazing to think that she ended up here and doing that.
Yeah. And she taped it from her house at the reservoir. And so stuff like that. So one of the things that we love doing, and me in particular, is this is sort of like 40 years of things that I've been interested over the years and just taking it all in. And we love to here's a thing we can connect. Here's another thing it absolutely connects. And it just, I think, gives the reader or whoever is absorbing the history, even though we're adding more to it, but it sort of gives it an extra life and layers to it.
Yeah, and the one thing that I really admire that the two of you do is you go right to the source. You go right to the individuals. You get the information right from, like you said, when you're doing the radio and you're trying to find out a little bit. You talk to Lawrence. You talk to different people. So this is not something where you just read about it and then you actually created this. And with Mary McBride, Margaret Mary McBride, you actually met people that knew her back
worked
in the
with
day.
her, yeah.
Yes,
And-
which is
Still-
amazing.
Yeah, it makes it. I mean, there's wonderful books that have been written about Kingston history, and we start there. And then on the internet, people have published some personal stories. Then, as Stephen said, we just know so many people with personal memories in Kingston. And then with all of the images that tell a story, so it's really pulling from a lot of different angles, and it makes it a
personal people must still have.
Yeah.
No one's ever asked about old Uncle Bill, and he was a general. Look at these photos. That,
Yeah.
Making that personal connection probably has so much more potential to find little treasures or gems. So
yeah, people's family history, and a lot of people's ancestors, parents, grandparents worked in the industries that we talk about, or shopped in the stores we're talking about, and that's the best kind of photographs. Just really personal, never been published,
Yeah, exactly.
and then it allows the family.
Unless you did the footwork, that would have been stayed in on the book on the shelf until whatever.
Yeah, and then it helps preserve the family memories as well, in a book, and people dig up things and help us out.
And then another thing is that, it's written so that it flows all the way through as a coherent story, but one can just open anywhere and just sort of see where you open a page and then take it from there.
Yes. Yeah, each topic.
Exactly, and then so everything is sort of standalone, but yet part of a big story. There's many, not here yet, but the cross references are, endless of, to add to the story. Like if you want to know a little more about here, go back to the canal and look at, and the railroad. And so you can add the layers and layers. And like you said, Nina, with the photographs, all the copy is referring to the photograph. So we analyze and study and things that we've learned, and we point things out. So things that are important or just of note, or whether they're funny anecdotes or important historically.
It's part of the copy, which
Correct.
is really fantastic, I think. One of the sections is the City of Trees. So there's a section, City of Trees, and it talks about the parks. It talks about the Pine Grove Avenue, where the pine trees were and so forth. And we just got done where,
Last year, no
But
pine trees on Pine Grove Avenue.
it also has a picture of the pools from the park. I don't know where it is
Carl
here.
Brown.
But
It's
Carl Brown would be,
yes,
absolutely.
He's advocated those.
But I thought, can we speak a little bit about that? Because that was something that I was curious for you to highlight, the City of Trees, how that came about.
Okay, well, that was literally inspired by Gene Dorner.
Okay.
Who, when we got to know each other, working on Lost Rondout, he told me that the city was completely different, that just was full of trees on every street and avenue, and
which is kind of surprising, because so many were cut down. Through the 1800s, if you could burn it for fuel, it already was cut down and burned.
Well, look on Fair Street, which you and I know very well, the double rows of trees, and there were several, and even Albany Avenue had double rows of trees, and just Broadway had trees, and large old trees. It completely changes the look of a city.
And then it's interesting, even looking into the history of parks, when you think about, when the city and the villages started, there weren't public parks for a while, and then they really started appreciating the need for it.
About the trees, Academy Green.
Yeah, we have a whole section, and we tie that right here.
A type of redwood trees.
Right there, and then some wonderful
And
pictures.
we tie that into the school and all the schools.
If you ever notice, like the tree, the two line, and they're so symmetrical. The branches are it's really, and those are. I want to say a dawn redwood. It's a type of redwood.
We have a drone camera that we use for a lot of the then and now photographs in the book, and we sent a drone up above Academy Green, because we talk about the Governor Clinton, we talk about Academy Green, and it was remarkable what you were saying, like the lines of trees, like they were absolutely perfect. And looking at it from above, it was you could see like the architectural drawing, and then it's really
it looks like
you don't appreciate it. Incredible, and some things you don't notice as much from the ground or when you're really thinking about it.
And I do know that we're on the radio, but could I mention that on our website?
Yes,
people can
absolutely.
See, and we weren't able to put those particular spreads together, but we do have at Hudson Valley History and Art.com. Under books, one can see what we're doing here. We're actually still trying to get community support of anyone who wants to get a book with their name in it, but also you could see the spreads. We have about 16. They're readable, and you can see how vibrant and one gets really brought in by all the imagery of the book, too.
So what's the website again, Stephen?
It's Hudson Valley History and Art.com. And that's what we do, history and art. I mean, over the years, we have short films on there about artists and many different things to poke around.
Now, let's be serious here for a minute. This is hopefully will make you some money. Is this going to be available for like the holiday season coming up?
Yes, that's our
From this
goal.
you make a living, says my father.
Well, that's our goal. So we're kind of really starting our serious fundraising over the next 3 months, and we're really looking for community support. And as I mentioned, the book will retail for $100. It will
$65.
$65, and it'll be ready.
Well, you pay $100, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's the thing that I got confused with.
Yeah.
With the $100, which we're really looking for, is for community support, and one gets their name in it, and you get the book a little earlier, and then otherwise it'll be available to the general public. And we know it's a teeny bit high, but it's very expensive.
This is my father's Christmas present.
Okay.
We won't tell her.
Yeah, sure, Dad, don't listen. But I mean, this is anyone that's
Absolutely.
If this is I don't want to sound quite a coffee table book, but this is something that you will sit out and anytime you got 10 extra minutes, you'll pick it up. And
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
It is.
flipping through.
As a friend
pages.
said about our other book, which is about a third the size of the post office book, is they always just open it and just learn something else, learn a little nugget.
But this will suck you in. Just these
Absolutely.
photos
Yeah.
and
And it will be hardcover as well, like our previous book. Yeah, and then we self-publish, so we don't have a publisher. We like to have full creative control, and it's also a very local book. So that's why we do the fundraising to help cover the cost. We have an excellent printer.
Where's the printing being done?
We have it printed in Canada, a wonderful printer. They did an excellent job with
in the books that
yeah.
really
Yes.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent quite some time
The print is
researching.
nice, being a printer by trade or
Yeah.
by education isn't well.
This is nice quality, but we need the real binding and the hardcover.
Yeah, we would have liked to do it locally, but unfortunately, that wasn't
Exactly.
possible.
We
But
need the stitch.
it's an excellent printer, wonderful to work with, and we were really happy with the quality of the last book.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, and we speak here about pictures, about architectural designs, things of that nature. But part of the book also focuses on individuals that were in entertainment, individuals that were in the arts. So, which I found really interesting too, because you intertwine personal experiences of people in the community and how the community affected them. So maybe we could talk a little about those sections, the arts and so forth, and different people, entertainers, and so that type of thing.
Sure. Yeah, we have a few sections about artists historically, and we bring it up to the present.
All
and
the
then
way from the Hudson River School of Painters through the art colonies.
Yep, and then we have a whole section on Black cultural history.
Father Divine.
Yes, Father Divine.
Yep, Father
absolutely
Divine.
in there.
Peg Leg Bates.
You hear this
Yes,
story,
he
it's like,
is.
no, what? This is something that sounds like this must have been in
Billy
like New Orleans or
Costello.
something.
Exactly, and one of my
Yeah.
favorite
Or Ulster County.
Yeah, exactly. A lot
It's
of
like the biggest landowner or the biggest property owner for a period.
Yeah,
in
in
the
Ulster
30s.
County, yeah.
And I discovered him 35 years ago in my study of Harlem, so to bring that in now, I was like, oh my God, this is great that
She was
he's
up
such an
here,
important character of Ulster County in particular. And Peg Leg Bates, of course.
Billy Costello.
Billy Costello.
boxer.
Yep, and then many other, in a variety of ways, and then even not so famous or mom and pop stores, and we go into the stories about Yallams, and so we really try to touch on every little thing, and when we know like Sue Yallam is a friend, so we're going, like you said, directly to the source, and I hadn't really thought about it in the way as clearly as you stated it before, Nina, but we kind of are a combination of the historians, which we really feel like I always called myself a lay historian. Then once we did a book, I said, all right, I can say historian at that point. So
Published historian.
Yeah, we both consider we consider ourselves historians, but in a way we're also journalists, and we are always, there's so many sources between books, internet, people, and even from people who know there's slightly different dates on things. So one of the things we really try hard is to to clarify all the different, slightly different or large differences out there and have it in this.
To really fact checking, because you can, I mean, we rely, on Ed Ford, of course, like top of the food chain there, but sometimes you find something that you're like, I don't know, that year there's other sources, and we really dig in.
A little warpy, I guess,
And then, of course, the internet threw everything up in the air, and people put whatever they want, so we do a lot of fact checking.
Yeah, you really have to do it.
Yeah, and then we really check with a lot of different sources, so we feel like, okay, whatever's in this book is like the absolute best that we came up with from a large variety of sources to say what really happened and when and who, and
they're not easy.
Hours and people's memories, of course, there's
people's memories.
Biases are
right, even inadvertently.
Yeah.
And there's something for everyone in here. There's so much. Like if there happens to be something that you don't like, turn the page, and there'll be something that you like the next
Fire
page.
off an angry letter to the editor.
Before we get to the end, just let's touch a little bit about the segment you have on forgotten neighborhoods. That's really very interesting.
Higginsville.
Yeah, Higginsville.
Mutton Hollow.
Yes.
It lives in there.
Yes, it is. Yes.
No, we got everything.
Where's Mutton Hollow?
It was on the other side of Higginsville, so on the other side of the creek.
Oh, okay, huh.
And then there's so many cool things, including one of my all-time favorites is the Seal College, which you just opened to, that many people still don't remember. Many people, even local, don't know about Higginsville as a name. So world famous SEAL training. There actually were sea lions, but known as seals. They were actually an Abbott and Costello movie. We tie that in. Everything's tied in back and forth. So you remember? I'm sure you might remember the drive-in theater.
I
the
remember the
Sunset
drive-in.
on 28th.
Yeah,
so
I
the
absolutely
Sunset
do.
opened in 1949, and then they opened with an Abbott and Costello movie starring the seal, the most famous seal, trained just a quarter mile down the road, or an eighth of a mile. And
right on Washington Avenue, right when you come in off the traffic circle. Nothing's there now. It's near one of the auto
and they
places.
were on the Ed Sullivan show, so world famous things like that. Or the mushrooms that were in the mines, which people think it's called the caves, from the cement industry, and it was the largest, for a time, largest producer of mushrooms in the country. I mean, things like that in little old Kingston.
And that's a good example of a topic. We found one or two newspaper articles. We got some basic information, and then through Facebook and all the different things we do, we're in touch with the grandson who has this incredible collection that you see in the book of photographs from his private collection. And he, fact checked everything. Some things journalists got wrong, of course, in newspaper articles. So then he's now read that and checked it, and we know that it's like the most accurate source of.
So like there's listeners out here that were alive.
Absolutely.
Your mom.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, even people who are old enough, many don't remember about it. So that's why we love bringing these things in, that even locals, and also now I've shown it a little bit because we have this for a little over a week, this printed draft copy. And so we've shown some of our, top highest mentors, and each one has said that there was information and photographs that they've never seen. So, because no one can see everything.
No, that's true.
Know everything.
That's true.
Isn't that cool? People could go in
for 200 spectators.
Yep, 25 cents. You go in and watch the seals do their tricks.
Yeah, 14 by 30 foot, 14 by 30, 6 foot deep concrete pool for the seals to perform.
Yeah. And Mark Hewling was one of the people that started it. He had Hewling's Barn. Some people remember, like a club.
Oh, the barn.
Right so that's him. That's him.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've known that for a while.
Yes.
So that's where the location was, next door to that. And then and then when the famous, which we also have just in a few pages, I think before or after this, where the old viaduct and it collapsed, and the bridge. There's the bridge. It's coming. If you go after this, so there's the bridge. Then there it is, and there's the barn actually. And the club, and then it used to flood a lot, and then the viaduct, of course. So when the bridge collapsed around 63, then they replaced that whole thing and changed it and opened up the area. Then urban renewal
Knocked
comes
down
in.
the
People
buildings.
will not
Where Higginsville went away.
Yeah,
Look at
completely
that in the
disappeared. A whole
center.
neighborhood.
The center photo, right there on the left side of the center, that's Washington Avenue.
Wow.
right here.
Which is. Oh wow!
Believe it or not, that's like as though if you were at Picnic Pizza looking towards Schwenk Drive.
All developed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Houses
So it
and
had
stores
houses.
and-
People won't realize that was the
And
neighborhood.
the tracks were probably here or something.
You're getting close to.
1 minute.
We're distracted.
Oh, he's telling us we're getting close.
minute.
All right.
We'll just keep
Okay,
going
give
into
us
the next hour if you don't mind.
Give us contact information.
So Hudson Valley HistoryandArt.com.
Click on book, and you can see spreads. And if anyone would like to contribute, we'd really appreciate
the
it. And you can
sponsorship
also
page.
poke around. And we also give regular talks. As an aside note, on the 24th, we're going to show Lost Rondout in Movies Under the Stars at Gallo Park, right where it all happened. So
great.
keep an ear out for that too.
Yes.
You can also,
On
if
what
you
24? What June?
July.
July. Just past June.
and you can also call Stephen if you'd like at 845-339-7834 for those who don't want to go online.
Or if you have
Call us
questions or
anytime.
comments or corrections, or you have photographs, or you want to meet us.
Yeah, anecdotes,
Yes,
anything
or
like that. We
Karen,
love
you-
meeting
or
with
you-
people.
They can reach out to you.
Yep, yeah, you can reach me at Karen@blauweissmedia.com. BLAUWEISS media.com.
And you can find all that information at Hudson Valley History and Art, all the contact.
HudsonValleyHistoryandArt.com.
And just remember, we do history and art.
All right.
Thank you so much.
guys.
Wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay, and thank you very, very, very much, Stephen Blauweiss and Karen. Thank you so much for being with us today about your new book. And it's now 8:59, and this last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, KCR, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and our live streaming on mykcr.org. Talk radio at its best, inspired discussions of, by, and for the community. We invite you to be with us tomorrow, 7 a.m., 7 to 9 a.m. every weekday. And until tomorrow, we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Real Magic 92.5.